Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Jazzy of Video Store Sasquatch here, and we are doing another Throwback Thursday. We'll hit you with the 7 movies that we watched this week for the action blockbuster month. We didn't really name, didn't have thought out that I should have thought out better. And then we will go into the box office, of course, and after that, any news that has hit in the last week or so. I'm starting this off right away from the Thursday movie. So it's Lethal Weapon here, directed by Richard Donner, starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, and Rene Russo. Came out on July 10th of 1998. With personal crisis and age weighing in on them, LAPD officers Riggs and Murtaugh must contend with deadly Chinese triads that are trying to free their former leaders out of prison and onto American soil. This movie is the one that I remember the most from actually going to for the Lethal Weapons, but the only other reason why I put this is I don't remember what the date of Lethal Weapon 3 was, but I believe it was more like around the December time, like the first two were. I know the first one was for sure. I don't remember exactly the second one, but I'm sure it was later in the year. This one actually came out in the summer, kind of follows our summer blockbuster rules. And when you kind of hear like all the money it made too, you kind of understand like what I'm saying. Plus all the people involved with it: Mel Gibson, Rene Russo, Chris Rock's involved, Joe Pesci, Danny Glover, of course. Jet Li gets involved in this one. Very good story here. This is one of the more memorable ones for me too because it's the one where they fight into the trailer. I remember them jumping into the trailer, pulling the guy out of the car, and then them hanging on. The opening scene with the the fire guy where he's flame throwing out onto the city, and they get Murtaugh to dance in his underwear while she gets shot by Gibbs or whatever his name is. I forget. I just watched a damn movie too. I literally just watched it. I just literally watched it. Griggs. Sorry, Griggs shoots him. I'm doing this right after the movie because I was tired of like doing them like one and one and one, like just 7 movies right after another on a Thursday. So I'm gonna try and do them right after I watch them. The budget for this movie was $140 million, which I was like shocked for a 1998 movie to have that high of a budget. With an opening of $34 million and a gross of $285 million. No matter what you look at it, like I said, that's a hit. No matter how you look at it, even if it just made the $5 million or whatever from the double of the advertisement, which I already think is kind of like ridiculous amount of money to be advertising with. And I just don't think that is just right. And it's a rule of thumb that people go by to like make movies that are on the brink of being bust, to just making them a bust to say, hey, they didn't get their advertising budget back. Still really good gross. Another disclaimer on these: that's a gross for the worldwide for a lot of these. Some of them is just the American gross. I didn't put the differences, but like the earlier movies, like the '80s movies, early '80s movies, are from 90 probably on down is worldwide gross because they actually did worldwide releases starting then into other markets than the American market. But that's just a disclaimer so you know what we're talking about money wise. This is like I said, this is like the classic of the Lethal Weapon. I feel like they left it on a great note. It's too bad we didn't see more from these two, but I think that the way they ended it was just perfect, and that we really didn't ever need a Lethal Weapon 5, or still don't to this day. Because I mean, by now Danny Glover is like what 70 something, and Mel Gibson would be 60. I don't know where they're going to be in their rockers chasing down criminals. I don't think it'd be feasible. It'd be like their kids and stuff like this, which would be fine, or like a reboot, which would be cool too. Either way, I mean, we saw the television show uh, Marlon Wayans and the guy that got kicked off the show, and then eventually Sean William Scott. But um, that's just where we are right now with Lethal Weapons. This one was good. Lethal Weapon 4, directed by Richard Donner, is what we just talked about. Hello, it is Friday night. We watched Conair, directed by Simon West, starring Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, John Malkovich, and Cole Meany. 1997 was his release year. Former U.S. Army Ranger Cameron Crowe has just been paroled for manslaughter, but must stop a group of violent and deadly criminals from escaping the country after they seize control of the prison transport plane he is on. This movie was released June 6th of 1997, to be exact. It had a budget of $75 million. It had an opening at 24.1 million and a gross of $224 million. This is exactly what we're talking about with blockbusters. They're just huge. net gains during the summer. This was action packed. I mean, I forgot how much action was in this movie. We had Dave Chappelle in this movie. We had Vin Rames. Who else did we have? Steve Buscemi. Oh, so many more people were in this movie that you just forget about that did tremendous roles in this movie, bringing all this together. The wild story, the thing about inmates taking over a airplane, and then on top of that, they're kind of smart enough to not only stop in the second jail to pick up more inmates, but they're kind of cocky enough to go from there after that and transporter and stuff like this. I mean, this is a wild ride of a movie. Simon West did an awesome job directing this. There's so many like cool little scenes about it. Even people today talk about how they have their own theories, like Harlan Green, who was Steve Buscemi's character, is Donnie from Big Lebowski, and there's just so many more. And you get the classic line of "put the money back in the box." There's just Nick Cage's simple, slow kind of characterization of Cameron Poe kind of makes this whole movie. I mean, there's so much to like about this movie. Rita Bubba's in this movie from Forrest Gump. He becomes Nick Cage's friend in this movie. It's Yeah. If you have not seen this movie, it's awesome. It's on Hulu. There's so many good things about this movie to talk about. Blockbuster, Blockbusters is a wild ride of a movie. Definitely one of my favorite movies of the month that we're covering for sure. And that is Con Air, directed by Simon West. It is Saturday night here. We watched Face Off, directed by John Woo, starring John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, Joan Allen, Alexandra Nivola. 1997, to foil a terrorist plot, an FBI agent assumes the identity of the criminal who murdered his son via facial transplant surgery. But the crook wakes up prematurely and vows revenge. Um, it was June 29, 1997 to be exact. Had a budget of $80 million, which is huge back in the day. Opened out about 23.4 million and had a total gross of 245.6 million dollars. So it made all of its money back, made more. This was a hit of hits. This is one of the more memorable ones from John Woo too. This is definitely a John Woo movie. When you watch it, it is action packed with just awesome sequences of just bullets flying all over, human beings flying all over, body parts flying all over, explosions everywhere. This is exactly what you expect from a John Woo movie. And it's probably one of his earlier ones too here, and it's a big old hit with $245.6 million. The only kind of funny thing is you kind of have to ignore the fact that both these guys literally went through major facial transplant surgeries, and then the next day were completely fine, no swelling, and we're off and on to trick the people that were going on. It's kind of silly, funny, but it's especially in 1997. Like think about today, like how long a surgery or something like that would take, and how long it would take to recover just from just simple stuff like that. And they're just saying the next day everyone's fine. I had a little itch. It's all Nick Cage complained about. But we kind of had to dispense belief when we're talking about a movie where they literally take someone's face off and then put it onto another person's face. So we're going to do that. And we're just going to enjoy everything. We get an awesome standoff at the end. This movie is so good. It was so like not 1997 that you forget that it was made in 1997, because there's so many stuff today that they just used from this movie and are just the gold guns. Castor Troy, Thomas Jane's in this movie. Oh fuck, there's someone else that you wouldn't even think about, like how old he would be at the beginning in this movie, because you wouldn't even think of him for this movie, but he's in this movie. That's crazy. And it's not Thomas Jane. I forget who it is though. I should have looked it up. It's a dude from The Wire, maybe. I'm not even gonna try and guess who he's from, but he's from a lot of stuff. You'd know him. He's tall, big, and goofy looking. He's the guy that Castor Troy supposedly slept with his sister. Anyways, this movie's awesome. Check it out. It was on AMC, I believe. So was the next one we're talking about. Hello, it is Sunday night. We are doing The Rock, directed by Michael Bay, starring Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris, and John Spencer. Came out in 1996. An FBI chemical weapons expert and a former SAS soldier turned political prisoner must break into Alcatraz prison when a rogue military group led by renegade General take it over and threaten a nerve gas attack on San Francisco. On June 7th, 1996 to be exact, budget of 75 million, opening at 25 million, and gross of 335 million dollars. This movie was a hit of hits, of course, just fucking five times its budget almost. Huge movie. This movie was awesome. You forget how cool this movie is and how cool Sean Connery is. And just think about how well, the next person we're going to talk about is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we're talking about Sean Connery here. And they're both not they both have a strong, thick accent, and they both made it just huge movies. Talking about James Bond, Entrapment, The Rock, just so many huge movies from Sean Connery, and then we're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger next. Think about that. That dude was in all the big blockbusters in the '90s and '80s. I mean, he's one of the biggest names ever, and they're both. We as Americans just accept the fact that they are American in whatever role they're playing, or I mean, they usually try and play it off as Sean Connery is British or something like that. I think he's a little bit more prideful than Arnold, but I mean, Arnold, we don't even care. We believe he's American no matter what. Um, it doesn't matter for us, and that's just because of how big and how cocky, how charismatic these people are. That just adds to the movie. Ed Harris is an awesome bad guy. It's a great movie with so much implications of even stuff that's going on today with soldiers and stuff like this and mistreatment of soldiers, and it all adds together into a pretty good movie. Huge explosions, huge fight scenes, all Michael Bay stuff. Where you get the live action like explosions and the fight scenes. They're not all computer and stuff like this. It's all Michael Bay. Just all awesomeness. And that is The Rock, directed by Michael Bay. So it is Monday night finally. I did make an adjustment here because we were gonna do Predator. I thought about it. We already talked about the Predators a bunch and all this stuff. We can always talk about the Predators with other stuff that's gonna come out. I thought we'd change it up. We'd do Commando, directed by Mark L. Lester, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ray Don Chong, Dan Hundea, and Vernon Wells, plus Alyssa Milano and a couple other people that you just know if you saw him. A retired Special Forces colonel tries to save his daughter who was abducted by a former subordinate. October 4th, 1985. So, like I said, this is one of those more weird ones where it's just outside of the summer blockbuster hit, but it's still just a huge hit. It had a budget of $10 million, an opening of $7.7 million, and a gross of $57 million. This movie was a $10 million budget. Think about it, 1985. Today, this movie came out similar results with the similar people involved and all that stuff. This would be like a $150 million movie. So just think about just how far we've come in movies and stuff like this of what we're doing and what we're expecting, and we still get five times the amount of money that was spent to make the movie to be on it. And this is one of those ones where that they had $10 million budget. I kind of agree that it's more like a double of what the budget is. Like this is the one that I believe could have a $10 million advertisement budget added to it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, like we just talked about that last one, is a huge name. 1985, he's already a huge name. He's just rolling along at this point in time, kicking ass. This is the famous "Getting the Chopper" movie. This is the movie of movies for Arnold fans because it is really just a one man army going against a whole army, and he kicks their ass. So yeah, so Alyssa Milano's in this. He saves her. That is his daughter. So 1985 to 2025, all those people are still those two people are still relevant today. 40 years in the business. That's just wild and crazy to think about. And this one is Commando, directed by Mark L. Lester. It is Tuesday here. We just watched Terminator 2 Judgment Day, directed by James Cameron, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, Edward Furlong, and Robert Patrick. It came cyborg identical to the one who failed to kill Sarah Connor, must now protect her 10-year-old son from an even more advanced, powerful cyborg. It came out in July 3rd of 1991, had a budget of 102 million, had an opening of 31 million, and a gross of 517.7 million dollars. Oh my, that is a hit. No matter which way you look at it, with the double budget, triple budget, however you want to see it, that is a hit here. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger at his best peak. This is one of them probably. No, I think tomorrow's movie actually is higher on my top 10 movie list, but this is definitely a top 10 movie lister for me. It is one of the classics, of course. I prefer this movie over Terminator. Some people prefer Terminator over this movie. I can see I like all Terminators, to be honest with you, but I can see how like some people like maybe that were like a little bit more hardcore fans or a little bit older don't like the newer ones just because they kind of came out newer, and it's kind of not as they were not as good as the other one, as this one, of course, number two. But there ain't many movies that are as good as number two, so we had to kind of give them a break here. I don't know what most people was expecting. We get, I mean, almost everything here. We get the Terminator coming back and helping John here as a little kid. We get Linda Hamilton's like mental breakdown, and then she has to like face the fact that his Terminator is probably like the best thing for his son. We get a new T1000, which is like pretty much an unstoppable Terminator that turns into liquid and can switch into people. So we get like a whole like variety of different stuff, and then like all the stories like accumulate. We get self sacrifices here and there for people that might have been wrong. And I can't believe that people have watched these movies all these years and still are making robots and like deciding that Skynet really maybe never happened because it's clear that at some point in time these robots are gonna come back at us. I mean, it's just obvious. We wrote in too many horror movies about it and other kind of movies about it to do it. But this is the like golden age original one. We have time travel. We have everything involved with science fiction here, and it's such good action. It's action packed throughout. I remember watching the scene on how they did the helicopter, or I remember watching a documentary on how they did the helicopter scene chasing the semi, and it speaks to professionalism and the amazing like capability of James Cameron here to be like, dude, we gotta get everything perfect, and they did it, and they nailed it, and it's just a James Cameron blockbuster, huge movie, of course, 100% action from Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is awesome. Please, if you have never watched any of the Terminators, start with this one, check it out, and I guarantee you will like it. It has everything for everyone. I mean, it literally has like a kid involved, so like it has like everything for everybody, even though it's rated R. So think about it like that. Crazy visual effects, like especially amazing visual effects for like its time, and it's all like practical stuff. So we all know that like all the explosions and stuff are real, even though they're like models and stuff of the town. Like those are like real like cool explosions, and that's why we get these cool graphics, cool scenes. None of this computer, except for like one like maybe digitally rechecked scene that you'll see that kind of like bugged me. And then like the last time I watched it, I'd never noticed it before, and it's hilarious to watch. But I'm not gonna tell you where it's at. I'm gonna see if you can find it and then comment to me in the section below, please. And that was Terminator 2, directed by James Cameron. It is Wednesday night, the normal night I would be doing these Throwback Thursdays, so I've been like all off. But at least I got all the videos done. I watched True Lies tonight, directed by James Cameron, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, Bill Paxton. A fearless globe-trotting terrorist battling secret agent has his life turned upside down when he discovers his wife might be having an affair with a used car salesman while terrorists smuggled nuclear warhead into the United States. This came out on July 15, 1994. It had a budget of 115 million, had an opening of 25.8 million, and a gross of 37.8 million dollars. Gross profit of 378 million, so 378 800,000, something like that. All those are about to change. It's just a little bit under probably what they actually made. The exact number on the IMDb page. This is the movie of movies. This is like literally everything. It's one of the rare movies where they get a Harrier jet involved in. Arnold fucking just kicks ass. We accept that he's American, and it's just Arnold being Arnold, flying jets, kicking ass, doing everything, shooting up people, being a husband, being a dad, saving his daughter, Eliza Dushko. This movie is awesome. Tom Arnold's kind of the low low key underdog comedy greatness in this, from Iowa, of course, so we gotta support an Iowa boy here. This movie is awesome. This is honestly like a top five favorite movie for me. Probably really top three when you really like break it down. Has everything. It has the love story, it has the action plot, it has the explosions, the never ending gun scenes, it has all the cool stuff, nuclear explosion, it has everything you can do into a movie, and they throw it into this one awesome James Cameron package and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis, and it is the coolest movie. If you've never watched it, it is on Hulu right now. It's on IFC. It's on a bunch of stuff right now. This is a blockbuster of blockbusters. I mean, the Harrier jet that's in this, it wasn't even really like fully functional yet, but they still were allowed to get it through the Marines to use it. There's just so many cool like little stuff like this if you look up this movie about the story and how it all worked out, and this is the epitome of action blockbuster, and definitely check it out. It is one of my all-time favorites. I'm glad I got to watch it, and that is True Lies, directed by James Cameron. And the box office for June 20th and to 22nd is How to Train Your Dragon for $36.6 million this weekend, 171.8 total. So it won the weekend one more time. 28 years later, the horror movie with zombie horror movie, $30.3 million. I did not go see the movie because I do not like zombie movies, and there's no way I could have sat through a 2 hour zombie movie, even if it does have like a tone change at the end, like I said, and it is more action or whatever it is. Not something I'm going to go sit through. And then Elio, 20.8 million dollars in third place. Those are the ones over $10 million. This is a tough weekend for some places, I guess. How to Train Your Dragon, third week in a row is number one. Good job for that. I'm just not a family movie guy either, and I've never seen the original How to Train Your Dragon, so I have no interest in seeing this. And Elio did actually look pretty good. I'll probably actually check that out coming around on Disney. I like the colors and the scenes and everything, so I'm sure we'll figure out a way to make that the most enjoyable. And then we have some news. We have a Supergirl for the DC universe, and I believe it's Millie Alcock from the new Games of Thrones or the House of Dragons. I think she has a look that's pretty interesting, and Melissa Bonet has given her step up there, so let's see what that is. And also from the DC universe, we have found out that the Clayface will be more like a body horror movie. I'm interested to see that, even though it does not have anything to do with the Matt Reeves Batman as part of the DC universe one. I guess they're gonna do a Bane movie too. I think James Gunn saw that the failing way of doing a Spider-Man villain for the Sony, and he's like, I think I can top it. Let's do some DC villains here and just fail it all the way around. I don't know what's going on with DC. It's gonna have to be a solid number for Superman, because I don't know if James Gunn's gonna be up for the job here, because there's just so many questions I have. But that is the news for this week. That is our Throwback Thursday. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please have a good rest of your day or night. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section, and see you next time in the cave.